And we're back with you now on WZBN. This is Mercer County Close-Up. It's January, and of course, we're a couple weeks into a brand new year, but also a brand new tax season. Now, it's best if you don't procrastinate, like many of us do. The deadline, which we'll get to, it's not April 15th this year. You do have a couple extra days, but it never hurts to get an early start on doing your taxes. And this year, you may find some resources out there for free that were not available before that will help you get your tax filing done easier and, more concisely, and, get your refund if you're due one sooner. Well, joining us to talk about this, you may remember him from last year, is our resident tax expert who has served New Jersey for many years. He's on his own now. We welcome Greg Semanick back to the show. Greg, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, the tax due date for 2011 is April 17th this year, I understand. Why the extra couple days?
Well, generally, when a tax deadline date falls on a weekend, and April 15th is a Sunday this year, it cannot be the tax due date. Therefore, it moves to the next day. However, April 16th in the District of Columbia is celebrated as Emancipation Day. By federal law, when Emancipation Day falls on a tax deadline date, that cannot be. It must then move to the next day. In this case, it's Tuesday, April 17th, which is good news for taxpayers.
And that's when you have to have it postmarked by in the mail, basically.
If you're going to mail it, the tax return to the IRS, you need to have it postmarked by April the 17th. However, more and more people are taking advantage of electronic filing. Nationwide, nearly 80%, 4 out of every 5 filers, did use electronic filing.
I know that at irs.gov, that's probably the most similar way online that it is, on paper. It's pretty much the same standard procedure. That's one way to file, but there's also a lot of softwares out there that will kind of help you step by step. There's TurboTax, eFile. I understand that you've got some suggestions, if you'd like, for how people can better file online.
Well, as you mentioned, people like free, and there's no better way to save money than free services, and I'd like to touch on some of those.
Sure.
For example, on the irs.gov website, as you mentioned, the free filing program where you can file for free and online will be unveiled in the latter part of January. There's approximately 20 software vendors, and to qualify for the free filing, your total or combined income can be $57,000 or less, so it cannot exceed $57,000. Okay, so you fall into that area above $57,000. There are still free services. For example, one of the software vendors, Free Tax USA, will enable you to do a basic tax return, including itemized deductions. And the average taxpayer does a Form 1040 with itemized deductions. That way you can do it for free. And again, that's Free Tax USA. Also, TurboTax is offering free 1040EZ preparation online. So again, you want to check out TurboTax. What I encourage people to do is check out the 20 software companies that provide electronic filing services and check the costs, the types of programs, to see which ones meet their needs.
Right.
Also, there's one organization that I saw recently, Walmart, is partnering with Jackson Hewitt as well as H&R Block, and they're going to provide free preparation of Form 1040EZ. Now, again, they'll be at certain locations, so you may want to check which Walmart would provide that service. But again, Walmart is partnering again with Jackson Hewitt and H&R Block, and they're going to prepare Form 1040EZs for free.
That really is wonderful. I mean, you think of all the extra holiday business that the Walmarts, the Targets, etc. do nowadays. Now Walmart is making something else that's, we need to do it, but they're making it accessible and, cost effective, obviously, so it's a really convenient thing. Now, there's also, I guess there's the volunteer income tax assistance and some tax counseling for the elderly programs, because I know a lot of us, a lot of our older folks who still file are, done working, they still pay. I mean, what are some of these programs all about?
This is the best kept secret, and we have to let the cat out of the bag on this one. And I encourage people to seriously consider these programs. As you mentioned, it's the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program and also the Tax Counseling for the Elderly Program. We refer to them as VITA, V-I-T-A, or TCE. The major partners that partner with IRS include the United Way and AARP, so you may want to contact those organizations. Now, to qualify for the free tax preparation assistance through these organizations, it's for people that really need this service. They can't afford a paid tax professional. So what they can do is, if they meet their criteria, to seek out in their local community. Now, in New Jersey, there's over 400 sites that provide these services. To qualify, you have to be 60 years of age or older, so basically our seniors, which Basically, I'm approaching there very shortly. But again, it's a great service. So again, if you're 60 years or older, non-English-speaking taxpayer, because you may not be familiar with the tax system, those with disabilities qualify for the service, and also taxpayers with a combined income of $50,000 or less. Again, you may not be able to afford a paid tax professional, but again, you may qualify for the free tax preparation services. Key thing to keep in mind, though, make sure you gather and organize your records and schedule an appointment at these various sites. That way, you're looking at one-stop customer service rather than have to make repeated visits if you're missing paperwork.
Absolutely.
So the key thing, as you mentioned, documents will be coming in the mail. You want to keep those and also start gathering and organize all your records.
Right. I mean, the common way, especially the up-and-coming, it's becoming more common, is to file online or over the web at irs.gov. Do you find also that people will receive their refund checks, if they're due a refund, they will get them sooner if they file them online?
Excellent point. Generally, if you use electronic filing, be it the free filing or various e-file programs, and choose direct deposit of your refund into your bank account, and the way the system is structured, you can receive that refund into your bank account anywhere from 7 to 14 days.
That's fantastic. And I mean, the money-saving tax tips, I mean, you give them out because, you know, you're on Twitter, I understand it, Semanick. That's G-S-E-M-A-N-I-C-K. You can follow him on Twitter. Greg's got a whole slew of tax tips for you. That's one way, or you know, people can contact the IRS directly with things that they need.
They can. I have my Twitter feed, and what I try to do, and I promise to the viewers out there that I'll have posted a daily money-saving tip, and that's how I title it, and I offer something for the viewers out there and anyone that wants that information to remind them of what is available. Also, the irs.gov website does post tax tips on a daily basis during the tax season. And also keep in mind, if you need tax forms and publications, the IRS no longer automatically sends out publications or tax packages, but they are still free, and all you need to do is call the IRS at 800-TAX-FORM. That's 800-TAX-FORM. If you have a need for personal assistance, that you want to talk with someone at the IRS, we encourage you to do that early in the tax season. Tax preparers, individuals, you want to make sure that you call the IRS early in the tax season because you want to make sure that the lines are available, because as we approach the final days of the tax season, millions of calls do come into the IRS.
Gotcha.
So all you need to do, the personal assistance hotline is 800-TAX-1040. That's 800-TAX-1040.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, as always, for all of your tips on this, and thank you for being our guest especially.
My pleasure.
Greg Semanick is a 36-and-a-half-year veteran of the IRS, no longer with them, though. He does supply a lot of tax tips on his own. Of course, you can follow him on Twitter, again, Semanick, G-S-E-M-A-N-I-C-K. And, of course, for questions regarding your own tax filing, contact the IRS directly sooner rather than later at 800-TAX-FORM or at 800-TAX-1040. I'm Mark Fontes. We'll see you again real soon.